Hello everybody, this is General Snivy and welcome back to more Let's Play Ratchet and Clank. In fact, this is the last video that I'm going to be making for this project. Woohoo! Finally, this Let's Play is coming to an end. Today, after 45 freaking minutes. Now, in today's video, we're going to be tackling all the remaining skill points that I've missed. And let me tell ya, I missed 26 out of 30 of them. I only managed to get 4 of them throughout the entire playthrough. Well, technically speaking, 23 or 24, whatever. 6, yeah, 24. Yeah, it's 24. Okay. Now, like I was trying to say, today we're going to be taking on the remaining 24 skill points that I've missed. And the first skill point that we're going to be taking on here is on this planet. All you have to do is take out the Devastator, take aim, and take out one of the ships. And let me tell you, it is a lot of work. And it's actually pretty difficult to aim, get a lock on, and fire the rocket and manage to hit the dang things. And also, I'm going to be checking my skill point list quite a bit throughout this video. Some planets actually have 2, well, actually no, what am I trying to say? Most planets have 2 skill points, others may have 1, and some other ones may not have any at all. One planet I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't have any skill points is Captain Quark's Training Ground planet. That planet doesn't have any skill points. Now for this skill point. This one's pretty easy, but in order to get it, you have to swing your way across a certain point throughout the slingshot obstacle course without landing on any of the platforms. And yeah, you pretty much have to go through the entire gauntlet without touching the ground. Now for skill point number 3 or whatever. Whatever, F you. For this one, transported. Just destroy a certain number of ships and the skill point will be yours. Pretty easy to take out. And I think you just have to take out 3 of them and there we go. Skill point is ours. And Planet Aradia is done, and also we got a trophy for our troubles. Also, I know I should have said this like 3 minutes ago, but this one is going to last at least 45 minutes. So, dang it, I hit my desk again. So what am I trying to say? It's simple. Just pause the video, grab yourself a bag of popcorn or some other snack, and enjoy the show. Now for this skill point. This is back on planet Kerwan, also known as Metropolis. At least that's where the city is located. For this skill point, it's strike a pose. What you have to do is get to this robot statue and stand underneath its leg. Stand in between its legs. To get to it, you have to go through Al's shop and go up quite a ways, and then use the helipad to glide yourself down towards the statue. Pretty easy, but getting to it takes a little bit of time. Now for the next skill point. For the next skill point, it is Blimpy. All you have to do is locate one of the Quark blimps. They're very easy to spot, for the most part. And they move relatively slow. To get this skill point, you need the Visibomb gun because, well, it's easier to get with the Visibomb gun than it is to get it with the Devastator. In my personal opinion, anyway. And also, I don't think the Devastator's auto lock-on would even lock on to the blimp anyway. I would probably get caught within one of the vehicles that are passing by. Now for the next skill point. And also, I was thinking some of them only had 2 at the most. This one has 3. For this skill point, blow up the Quark robot statue thing at the obstacle course, and boom, Quarktastic is yours. That skill point has been collected, and we can now head on out to the next planet and get even more awesome skill points. Now, what do skill points do, you ask? What do they contribute to? Well, they contribute to unlocking the epilogue, and also some concept art and stuff like that in the sketchbooks. That's basically it. Now for this skill point, Girl Trouble. In my personal opinion, this is probably one of the harder skill points to get in the game, primarily due to controls. For this skill point, what you have to do is well, I tried to attempt this skill point during the main playthrough, but for some reason I was unable to do so successfully. And I figured out the reason. The reason for this is because you must do this entire fight from start to finish using only the Omni Wrench and defeat the Queen. Defeat the Queen Scorpion thing. And also all the minions too. You have to use your Omni Wrench on the minions as well. And also those radioactive frogs, you gotta whack them with your wrench. And nothing else. You can't use the suck cannon, you can't use any other weaponry besides your wrench. Because if you do, then the skill point, you can't get it. Unless you leave the planet and go back. So, how do you dodge the Queen's attack while you're fighting her? And it's pretty simple, you just have to do flips. And to do flips, you just have to duck and then hit the analog stick either left or right while fighting her. It's a little bit of a quick succession, and it's a little awkward to do in this game, but once you get used to it, it's pretty simple to execute. And doing so, you'll be able to avoid a lot of damage. And dealing damage to the Queen, just do jump strikes repeatedly, again and again. Now for the tricky skill point. Head to the Blackwater City hoverboard race, hold left on the analog stick after doing a big jump, and push L1, then L2, then R2, and then L2, and successfully land the trick, of course. And with that, you'll earn the skill point Tricky, and it's also known as the Twisty McMarks. One of the hardest tricks to learn in the game, but whatever. It's there. Now for what I believe to be the hardest skill point in the game. And this one's known as Speedy. For this skill point, oh my god, this was a major pain in the frickin' ass. Excuse my French, but that's the way it is. For this skill point, what you have to do is complete the hoverboard race in 1 minute and 35 seconds or less. To do this, you're going to have to hit every single boost panel and cut as many corners as you can. Jumping the one corner that I normally jump over during this lap will save you quite a bit of time. And trust me, you want to do this as much as you can, and do your absolute best to not miss any of these boost panels. If you do, well, there's a pretty high chance that you won't be able to make the required time. Also, I am also very envious of you people who are over in the European region, because you only have to do this in 1 minute and 36, which is like a second longer than us over here in the US. But with that, the Speedy skill point is ours, and we also get a gold trophy for our troubles as well. Also, Victory Dance. Victory Dance is the best way to celebrate our well-earned victory after so many frickin' hours spent practicing that godforsaken obstacle course. Oh man, that was a serious pain in the frickin' ass. I'm not frickin' kidding. Now for this skill point. This one's not as hard as Speedy, not by a frickin' mile. For this one, you have to have the morphing ray and you have to transform a tank into a chicken. You have to get very, very close to the said tank, and you also just have to use the morphing rate on said thing, turn it into a chicken, and cluck cluck is yours. It'll probably take you a couple of tries to get close to it because of the way it attacks, but it'll be worth it once the skill point is acquired. Also, those long pauses, you may have noticed, I'm just checking my skill point list, making sure I did get everything. Now for this planet. There is one skill point that I missed here that I know up off the top of my head, and it is known as Eat Lead. For this skill point, what you have to do is you have to summon a sand mouse, and it has to destroy all the tanks that are throughout the level. You cannot help it in any way, shape, or form. If you whack it with your wrench or if you shoot it with any of your weapons, then the skill point is lost. Meaning you can't get the skill point until you leave the planet and then go back and do it again. Also, you're gonna have to summon a sand mouse multiple times in order to get this skill point successfully. The reason is because the sand mouse only has a limited amount of ammunition and a limited amount of time that it will stick around. Also, I didn't know this until I die, which will be momentarily. But you don't have to do this all in one life. You can take hits and die repeatedly, just as long as you have the sand mouse take out the tanks that you previously weren't able to take out, like the one on the left, and also it has to destroy the bottom of the tank too in order for it to count. With that, the skill point is ours, which is excellent news. And also we get a silver trophy for our troubles. One more thing, you need the sonic amplifier helmet thing in order to summon the sand mouse in the first place. It's pretty easy to acquire. I acquired it during my main playthrough of the game, so that saves me quite a bit of trouble. By finding the sand mouse, it's not too hard to locate. Just go behind one of the first few buildings you see, and there you'll find one of the spawn points of where the sand mouse is located. And also, it's very highly recommended you destroy all other enemies except for the tank when you get towards one of the tanks, so the sand mouse doesn't waste ammunition, because the ammunition is very highly needed in order to get the skill point and also to destroy the tanks. And as far as the number of sand mice needed, you probably need about 2 or 3. Took me about 3 sand mice, but really that wasn't too bad. Now for this skill point, Destroyed, and its own planet gas bar. For this skill point, it's very easy to get. All you have to do is destroy all of Chairmen Dreck's destroyer ship-like things. I destroyed most of them during my main playthrough of the game, however I missed about 2 of them during the course of the playthrough. Why? Well, I just plain didn't see them or pay attention to them. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to commentate and play the game at the same time, and also keep an eye on some of the smaller details. So with the next ship destroyed, we should get the skill point. You may not get it straight away, but after around 10 or 15 seconds or so, the skill point is ours. There we go. That's that skill point. On to the next one, which we can get after we kill ourselves by jumping into the lava, because we like setting Lumbaxes on fire. Now, for the next skill point on this planet, what we have to do is simple, and yet it's pretty difficult at the same time. For the skill point, you need to hop into one of the turrets on this planet. Can be any turret, but I would recommend the first one because that one's the easiest to find. For the skill point, what you have to do is simple. Use the turret to take out these ships. And you have to take out 5 of them. Take out any 5 ships that are flying around in the sky in the background. And skill point is ours once again. Also, during the editing process of the Gold Bolt run and the skill point run, I pretty much combined them all into one single video track, all 4 or 5 of them. How many videos was it again? I just said. It was around 4 or 5 video recording sessions altogether. That was a good number, but still. Still took me quite a while to do. For this skill point, difficulty-wise, it is pretty difficult because the controls for the turret are relatively slippery. Also, one thing I'm going to point out right now is, and I should have pointed this out a while ago, but, well, better late than never, I always say. I decided to use the difficulty scale of 1 to 5 stars. 1 star being not difficult at all and pathetically easy, and 5 stars being the most undescribable difficult skill point that I've ever obtained in my freaking life. And that skill point needs to burn in hell. And that one was speed. That one was the most difficult skill point in the game. So, I want to hear from all of you. If you have played this game and gone after every single skill point in the game, what was your most difficult skill point to get? And sound off in the comment section below, love to hear it. Now it's time for the next one, which is on Planet Orxon. Planet Orxon, this skill point is known as Sniper. What you have to do is look down this pipe and take out one of the enemies. Or, no, you have to take out a certain enemy, and it's that annoying blue enemy that wakes up scorpions that are in their sleep. And you have to look down that particular pipe. There are no other ones in the entire planet. Now for this skill point. And it is called, Hey, Over Here! What you have to do is lure enemies into a shield generator, or no, you have to lure enemies into a force field, and they'll kill themselves. And in my personal opinion, that's a pretty easy skill point to get. Besides, this shield generator, no, dang it. The force field is the only force field in the entire planet which you cannot take down. Which is a good thing, because there are many other force fields in this area which the skill point can also work on, but it's riskier. And I think it's more difficult too. Also, you need the taunter in order to even get that skill point in the first place. So just thought I'd bring it up before anyone decides to throw hammers at me. And with that, this planet is done. Got all the skill points here, all 2 of them I believe, as I scroll down the goodies. And yeah, that was all of them. Now for the next one, which is on the vacation planet. Oh boy, this next skill point is quite a bit of a pain in the butt to get. And I'll go ahead and talk about it as soon as we get there, so let's go. For this skill point, you need the Visibomb gun. And this skill point is none other than Alien Invasion. What you have to do is use the Visibomb gun to destroy, I think, 5 ships. If not, it's 3. One of the two. 5 or 3 ships that are flying around in the background in the sky. We destroyed many of these things during our previous time here using the mind control helmet and flying the ship, destroying those giant blarg spaceship things that rain death from above and poison the water supply and yada. Fun times! I remember those times. In my personal opinion, this is definitely one of the harder skill points in the game. Hence the reason why I marked it as 4 stars. There were a couple of skill points I marked as 4 stars. This is one of them. The reason why I marked it as such is because of the sheer difficulty of what you have to do in order to get this said skill point. There we go, that's one down. Now for a couple more. One other thing to point out as well, the Devastator will not cut it here. It won't lock onto any of the enemies up here in the sky because, well, they're too far away for the lock on to even activate in the first place. And even if you get lucky and just blow one out of the sky, I don't think it would count. Even with the Devastator. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. And that's it. Almost emptied half of our magazine when it came to the Visibomb gun, but whatever. Well worth it in the end. Next up, Planet Hoven. Planet Hoven, its skill points. Was there only one that I missed here? I can't remember off the top of my head. For this skill point, what you need to do is take out the Devastator and destroy at least 5 helicopters with it. You can use the Visibomb gun too whenever it floats your boat, but it's easier to use the Devastator. Also, the spot I'm standing here, it's a pretty good location of taking out the helicopters, but really it's not the best location because one of the higher platforms is blocking your shot when it comes to helicopters passing by. But really, you can still get the job done like right at your ship, almost literally. Just as long as you lock onto your enemies and also have ammo to spare. So keep this in mind when going after this skill point. You're going to need plenty of ammo. Make sure you're... I wouldn't say you have to be maxed out. I just went a little overboard because I wanted some extra shots. And I needed extra shots for future skill points anyway. So, go me. My shots are not the greatest. Even with the auto-aim mechanism thing that's implanted into the Devastator, I still miss sometimes. That's the unfortunate part. That's always fun, missing your target. And also having the target fly away and having a building block your shot. But with that, we got the skill point. We got the skill point. It wasn't too difficult to get, but it was still a pretty big pain. Now for the next skill point on the Ultanus Orbit. The next skill point is a chore to get. But it's definitely one of the easier skill points to get. But it's still a chore. And this skill point that we're going to be getting next is none other than Sitting Ducks. As soon as we get here, I'll show you what we have to do. What you have to do is either take out the Devastator or the Visibomb gun and take out the transport ships that are sitting on top of the base. And there are several transport ships of which you'll have to take out too. And the Devastator alone isn't going to be enough to take out the transport ships. And I didn't know this, but the Devastator actually does have limited range. It's not unlimited. It's not like a super powerful sniper rifle that can shoot people from across the map. No. The Visibomb gun is. That thing can fly for a good 2 or 3 minutes before fuel runs out and then it explodes. What? Blah. For locations of the dropships, just fly the Devastator around the base quite a bit. You'll eventually find them. And once you do, that pretty much takes care of all the transport ships outside. There is one more transport ship that's inside the base. And the last transport ship as I stated. Shoot, what am I trying to say? It's on the ceiling, right there. This is the area where you would get ambushed by a bunch of enemies. And with that, skill point is ours, and we are out of here. Ortanis is done. Time to head back to our ship and head to planet Ortanis itself. After I check the skill points again. Why? Because that's the way I want to do things. I want to check things to make sure I don't miss anything. I mean, really, I don't want another incident like what happened with the Gold Bolt run when I ended up missing one. But I did end up getting it anyway. Enough of that. Let's move on. I just said to. Stupid brain fart. I hate those things. Ortanis. That's it. Now, for this skill point that we're going to be going after is known as Shattered Glass. For this skill point, it's a bit of a chore, because you have to go throughout the city and shoot out all the light posts in one life. And that includes the secret areas of where the gold bolt, where one of the gold bolts were located, and also throughout the upper part of the city. It takes quite a bit of time to take them all out, but you'll eventually get the job done without much of an issue. Also, I fast forward through a large majority of this because, well, it is because of the fact that this is such a chore. Also, there's an invisible wall for no frickin' reason. Also, I do die here, which stinks. But hey, transitions, that's what they're for. The annoying part is that the light posts of which you shot out respawn, and you do have to take them out again. But hey, it's not too bad. I mean, they're pretty relatively close. They're relatively close to each other. So, word of advice when going for this skill point. It's simple, just go after the ones in the secret areas first. And then come back and take care of the ones near your ship. And with that, the skill point will be in our hands momentarily. But in the meantime, I decided to go after this next skill point, which is Blast 'em. Blast 'em, in my personal opinion, is definitely one of the hardest skill points in the game to get. Why? Because you have to use the Visibomb gun to take out these here ships that are flying around in the sky. And to take them out, it takes a lot of patience. And I really mean a lot of patience. Why? Because these ships fly as high as pretty much the limitations of the range of the Visibomb gun when it begins to lose signal. And once it loses signal, you can't turn it back around and get it back down to proper levels without losing it. And for the number of ships you have to destroy, I do believe you have to destroy 3 of them, if not 5. One of them. One of those numbers. Just be sure to have plenty of Visibomb gun ammo and have a lot of patience. Also, come to this point in the city. This is the place where you found the morphing ray the first time through. While here, just have yourself a ball. Destroy a good number of ships. 3 of them, really. Yeah, it was 3. 3 ships. Whoop-de-doo. And before we go, we're gonna shoot out these lights again. Why? Because they respawned after I made a stupid mistake and killed myself. Like a dude. But whatever, you live, you learn, you try, and you do so many other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. Dang it. Well, we're about the 30-minute mark, and we got a good number of trophies under our belt, which is excellent. Alright, next planet, which is Gadgetron. Gadgetron headquarters. We're heading back here again. One of the skill points I tried to go over and tried to do during the main playthrough, but I was unable to do so. This skill point is none other than heavy traffic. For this skill point, what you have to do is go through this entire rail gauntlet without taking any damage whatsoever. No damage from the bombs or the guardrails, no damage from anything. And I mean anything. This took me multiple attempts to do, but in the end I finally managed to do it. Thankfully it wasn't the most difficult thing ever, but it was relatively annoying. Also, you don't have to take the optional paths that are like on the right of the grind rail segments. You do have to take the main grind rail all the way through. So, weapons of choice. You really don't use very many weapons here. Well, really, you shouldn't use any at all. The only weapon you really should use is either the Omni Wrench or the Blaster. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever feels more assuring to take out some of the more annoying obstacles like bombs. And really, the Blaster's the only thing other than the Blaster and the Omni Wrench, they're the only things that can take out bombs relatively easily. And with that, skill point is ours. Time to head on off to the next one. And for this skill point, you have to score 4,500 points throughout the entire hoverboard race. And during this race, you're going to have to do flips and also use all the best tricks that you can possibly muster out of your frickin' butthole throughout the entire race. Thankfully, it's not the hardest skill point to get because I manipulated the spawn logic within the hoverboard race during the finish line. Fun times! All you have to do if you're in that situation like me when you're just so close to getting to your score that you need to get to the skill point, and yeah, just keep doing a simple flip, then fly yourself into the water, and keep repeating it over and over again. You don't have to win the race. You just have to score 4,500 points, and that's it. So don't worry about that. Now to move on to the next skill point. And this one takes place within Dreck's fleet. There's actually 2 skill points here, but one of them I missed. This one is known as Careful Cruise. What you have to do is navigate your way through this gauntlet of god-awful fans and lasers and mines. And you have to do it without taking any damage whatsoever throughout the entire trip. Not a single hit. At all. Otherwise you won't be able to get the skill point whatsoever. Yeah. Unless you leave Dreck's fleet and then come back again. That or you have to go through the gauntlet again, whatever works. But thankfully the gauntlet isn't the longest thing ever, but it does take a little bit of time to get through. And once you reach the other side and jump out the water, that's it. Skill point is yours. One of the more difficult skill points to get, but not the most difficult skill point. In my personal opinion, anyway. It's the reason why I gave it like around a 3-star rating. If not, it was like a 4. I can't remember the rating I gave it. Wasn't really paying attention. I was talking about the previous skill point. Well, now that Careful Cruise is finished, we can leave this area and not have to worry about it ever again. The other skill point I already got. It's called Sneaky. What you have to do for that one, you just have to kill off all the guards during the segment where you have to sneak through certain portions of this level. Simple as that. Now for the last skill point in the game. This skill point is called Going Commando, and it takes place on none other than Planet Veldin. For this skill point, what you have to do is take out these elite soldiers using only your Omni Wrench. Also, they're going to be flying around in the air quite a bit. And they're also very annoying to take out, so jump strikes are your best friend. Trust me, you're going to thank me later. And the number of soldiers you have to take out, I do believe you have to take out 6 of them using only your range. And that's it. Once you take out all 6, or just 6 out of so many of them with your Omni Wrench, then the skill point is yours, and that will be all the skill points in the game. Believe it or not, this is the last one. You may be thinking, why is this the last skill point when there's clearly still like 10 minutes left to go? Well, that's because there's still quite a bit of things left to cover. By quite a number of things, I mean like a couple of things, as far as extra content is concerned. Remember before when we couldn't buy the RYNO because of its expensive price tag? Well, after we get the skill point, we're going to get this RYNO, and I'm also going to show how broken it is when it comes to fighting Chairmen Dreck. And I'm going to completely rip him a new one. Pun is totally intended. I really mean it. Seriously. Also, I was wrong for the number of elite soldiers. I do believe I thought it was 6, but I think it's actually 9. Because this is the last one right here that we have to take out. And that's it. That's all the skill points in the game. So, with that done, we got ourselves a bronze trophy going commando, which, in my personal opinion, should be silver, but whatever. We got a gold trophy for our troubles for acquiring all the skill points in the game, which is very nice to have. And now that I've acquired all 150,000 bolts needed to buy the RYNO, let's go ahead and buy it as soon as I can get within proximity. And there we go.
Oh, this thing is heavy! Yeah, try carrying it around in your trench coat for 2 months.
Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to tell everyone about your services.
Listen, you little twerp. If you tell anyone what you saw or what we talked about...
Do I even have to say it?
Yous two have a nice day.
That was pretty funny. Now, for the RYNO itself, it is the most powerful weapon in the game. And if you're playing this on the PlayStation 3 version, the RYNO is the last weapon needed to get 2 silver trophies.
That's a real beauty.
This pretty much completes your entire weapon collection. This is the last weapon in the game, and boy, is it awesome. Now, the RYNO, there's one thing I need to mention as far as ammo capacity is concerned. The only way to get ammo for the RYNO is to buy it. You can't find ammo for the RYNO via pickups in any way, shape, or form. I'm serious, you can't do it. And this goes for all RYNO variants in the Ratchet and Clank universe. Why? Well, it's probably because it is the most powerful weapon in the known Ratchet and Clank universe. And it really brings people a new one in so many ways you can't even imagine. I mean, seriously, look how fast I'm taking out Chairmen Dreck and completing all the phases and stuff. With the RYNO, there is no stopping it. There is nothing that Chairmen Dreck can do, except slow us down even further with unskippable scenes. They're not cutscenes, because cutscenes I can actually skip without an issue. Just certain scenes like, oh look, a button, you gotta press it before time runs out. So, with the RYNO, what you have to do is just simply lock onto your targets, push circle to fire, and all your targets will die. With the RYNO itself, it fires 9 rockets per shot, and once it does that, then boom, all enemies die. Even Chairman Dreck goes down like a frickin' sissy. He is nothing. compared to the RYNO. Why doesn't he have this thing up his arsenal? Seriously. It's definitely more powerful than the robot of which he has to kill us with. I mean, really. Look at it. It has nothing. Plus, the RYNO actually has range. It's another weapon with really good range. Reminds me of the Devastator and the Visibomb gun, except you can be mobile with it. And with Chairman Dreck defeated once again, we're gonna destroy his planet and also execute the ending cutscene because I feel like it. And this time, since we finished everything, and since we acquired all the skill points and all the gold bolts in the game, we're going to proceed onward to New Game Plus. But this is where I'm going to be ending the project for the most part. I'm considering doing a challenge mode playthrough of this game, but I'm also going to consider streaming it. I'm going to consider streaming a challenge mode playthrough in the future. If the demand is large enough for me to do a challenge mode playthrough via stream, I'll probably do it sooner. It really depends on the situation and what goes down. In New Game Plus, we carry over all of our weapons, only one of our items, and for backpack gear such as the helipack and thruster pack, I'm not sure. Also items, you carry over your premium nanotech, ultra nanotech, the bolt magnet thing, and also a couple more items. Also cheats. Don't know how to unlock them. I think it's with button presses and stuff. Like, push a certain combination of buttons to unlock this cheat, and that one, and then another one. You can probably look them all up on Game FAQs or something. And with that, we're now looking at the sketchbook. The sketchbook, pretty much what it is showing us all the concept art of basically early models of both Ratchet and Clank and what they were originally like before we got introduced to the final counterparts. And also, you'll find some interesting information about some cut content, including areas that we would not be able to explore, and along with some other things too. I don't let the message thing go through because I figure the pictures are just enough. The pictures are enough. They look pretty. They look very nice. I like the sketches. Also, you can view early sketches of certain enemies very early on and what they look like, along with some of the ships which you've acquired in the game. Also, final sketches and early concept sketches of other ships, of which you weren't able to get in the final product, if that wasn't obvious. Also, this guy, and those things. Oh, blah. Here's some early concept art of Big Al. I'm glad, blah. I'm happy that we have the final version of Big Al. I like him the best, okay? Okay. So, what do I find most interesting about the sketchbook? Well, everything. Everything I find in here is very interesting. And finally, the epilogue. The epilogue pretty much is different magazine covers spoofing other famous magazines, including the National Enquirer and a certain gun manufacturing magazine I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. There are several magazine parodies here, including Time Magazine, I've noticed here too. Very nice. If anyone knows the names of all the parodies of all the magazines that match real-life magazines, let me know in the comments section below. Love to read and learn about that kind of information. Funny, there's a poster for Ratchet and Clank the motion picture. Fun fact, that's being made into a real movie. I'm dead freaking serious. It's becoming a real movie. There's a teaser trailer out there right now. Look it up on YouTube. You'll find it pretty easily. Even though this was announced months ago, but really, I just wanted to bring it up since it was found here. Just for comedic purposes and really for informational purposes. There are 2 more options of which we have available, but we won't be able to unlock them until we purchase all the gold weapons in the game. But with that, I am done. This Let's Play is over. This is Gerald Snivy with Let's Play Ratchet and Clank. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed these videos, please remember to leave a like. Next time, my next Let's Play and whatever it is I decide to do. And also a future stream of challenge mode sometime in the future. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. See you all later.